snowball seems to be growing. Do you know what I mean? It seems to be like
it's more of a
worse than
thing.
it's ever been.
More of a thing than I can remember it being for quite a long time, to be honest.
And I get it as well. Do you know what I mean? I do.
I do and I don't. I have my own issues with it, but I don't feel the need to fucking go on Twitter and get validated for it.
No.
And I think that's the issue. People want validation for their negative emotions these days.
Well, and I also think if it must be fucking hard to make content on this game right now, because it's tough, isn't it? Like, especially if you're playing champs. If you're like a pro player and you're trying to make, decent quality content, it's hard to stay positive throughout a weekend.
I don't think you need to stay positive, because part of the enjoyment I've always had from following, say, a particular streamer is you go through the trials and tribulations that a normal player goes through, and you want to see that reflected in your stream. It's not supposed to be a straightforward linear path to success. So I don't mind people having ups and downs and chucking a controller across the room or anything like that. Stuff we've all done at some point. It's just the incessant moaning about the same bullshit every year, yet you stick around and don't make any attempt to get out of the funk that you're in because you've got a livelihood connected to it, or it's just habitual. People sort of, they get home from school or get home from work, they log in and play the game, and then they wonder if it's actually, do I even want to be doing this? It's just like I've been pre-programmed to do it almost, because they don't have an alternative game to go to or a different hobby they can do on a day-to-day basis. Certainly this time of the year, as the weather's getting shit in Europe, as an example, where you would expect more people to be online playing video games, kind of almost seems like the opposite is happening with FC. Like the player pool is draining away a little bit.
Even I've been looking at different games today.
No, you weren't.
Don't say Football Manager or something stupid like that.
Golf games.
Pez.
Cricket.
No, not Pez.
That sounds boring as fuck, Paul.
Cricket's fun, actually. It is. Don't get me wrong. That game has got some glitches. Like, that is buggy as fuck. But I'm not fully invested in it. So I think the problem with FC is when you know all the intricacies of the game and all the bullshit, you just see it, don't you? If you're playing the game a lot, you see it. Whereas cricket, I jump in, I play a few games.
Exactly. It's because you're fresh to it and you take it at face value.
Yeah, I'm just playing it. If somebody, a bat goes through the middle of the ball and you're like, oh, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah. You don't see the kind of complaints.
If I were playing a 3-day test match, and I've been playing that game for 4 years, I'd be,
You don't see the kind of complaints that our community, particularly from content makers and a lot on Twitter, make over and over again, highlighting the same shit every year. They don't leave the game. They're just kind of stuck with it. But you don't see that, or at least I don't, and I'm just speaking purely anecdotally here, from newcomers to the game, younger players. It's the people who've been around for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, because they're doing the same shit year in, year out, and it gets fucking boring. You haven't done anything else for years. And so the same little issues that the game has had as a legacy for a long time just start to upset you and frustrate you more and more. But someone who's just playing Ultimate Team for the first time will just see all the good stuff, how addictive it is, that feeling you got when you first started playing the game, and how exciting it is to make even the most incremental, minor improvements to your squad and just be having a great time. And they'll see a bug or an exploit and go, oh, well, that's a bit funny, and carry on. It won't bother them so much. But it's like the end of the world to some of these people who are posting shit on Twitter, and because they've just seen it 100 times before.
Yeah.
And not focusing on the enjoyment they're supposed to be having from the game whatsoever.
And I do get it if the games gets to a stage where, especially in the higher divisions, and I see it a lot, where it's just bullshit and it's hard to be competitive because stupid fucking rebounds or whatever it might be decides the games. That gets tiring quick, doesn't it? So I do understand that, because it just gets tiring, doesn't it? But put it down, fuck it off. But it's difficult because we love this game, don't we? Do you know what I mean? And you want it to be good.
I do wonder if it's the case of people love this game or they're still romanticising about a version of the game they played years ago and how it felt back then, not really how it feels right now. I think that's a big part of it. Especially if you have been playing the game for many years in a row and you haven't taken a break like for a year at least and missed it a little bit. That is a big reason of why, despite all the various issues that we highlight and talk about I still play the game, because I took my time out and I decided that for all its faults, I was better still being in the game than out of it. But I think most people haven't experienced that, so they're just constantly annoyed and frustrated. That's the problem.
Yeah. And do you think the game's definitely worse than last year's game, isn't it?
See,
I'm not getting the enjoyment factor this year
Yeah.
as I did last year. And I think that was almost down from day one, because I found the new like tactics system and everything just so unusual and difficult to understand that I just couldn't plug myself in and pick up where I left off last year. And the systems I was enjoying last year didn't work this year, and crossing isn't as good this year as it was last year. Stuff I really enjoyed. That doesn't make it a bad game, but I've struggled to adapt my way through into FC25 compared to last year, yeah.
Can either one of you guys name one thing in FC25 that is better than FC24?
The filters.
That's the fucking problem, isn't
The
it?
filters on the market, on the
There's nothing
filtering
that's
cards
better.
for SBCs.
The content's not better. The gameplay's
No.
not better. The dribbling's not better. The passing's not better. Nothing is better. I'm sitting here listening to you guys talk about it, just taking it in, and I've been reading social all week. People aren't happy with the game.
Sure, a weekend league. But that's not a gameplay
yes.
thing.
Right. That's the platform, the way that thing's set up is just, it's built to frustrate you to fuck. It is built to make you fucking miserable, and is doing it. That's why I don't play champs. But what do you think? I guess the main reason why people are so pissed off is obviously the game isn't better. But why do you think people reminisce on old games, like you were saying earlier? Like, you would think as you progress 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road, gameplay would become better, and they've like continuously made it worse and worse and worse with every iteration of Hypermotion. Particularly, that's when it got really bad for me. Is when I went to New Gen Hypermotion. The game is an animation lottery. If you're given the wrong animation at any given point in time, especially in the final third with the long wind up to finish a 6-meter goal, you're fucked.
I have my own theory on that. And this is coming from someone who doesn't have a game development background. But if Ultimate Team plugged into FIFA or FC, as it is now, was designed to be a certain way by a certain team of people 15 plus years ago, so many of those have moved on now. You can't keep iterating and making it fresh whilst also being familiar at the same time, when the people who were involved in the beginning probably aren't involved anymore. And it's something that I think a lot of games suffer with. Call of Duty has probably handled it a little bit better than, say, FC has, but because their development's split over like 3 major development teams, you're always going to have a case of, well, this year's game sucks because Treyarch aren't doing it. It's Infinity Ward, and they're not the Infinity Ward that made COD 4 in 2008 or whatever it was. And that's kind of where we're at now. I genuinely think there's an issue in the games industry. Almost every new release gets destroyed before it comes out. And FC isn't like protected from this in any way either. But I genuinely think the industry's reaching an issue where the devs just aren't as talented as they were 15, 20 years ago, quite frankly. Very few of them are. They seem to be struggle to make anything land these days. And also the industry's gotten itself into a pickle whereby people have kind of figured out for themselves what it is that they like and they just stick to it, like a Fortnite. You get anyone who's been playing that for the last 4 or 5 years, trying to get them out of it's extremely difficult. But that's the player base. A lot of games that come out now are targeting, and they can't pry them away from it because they're financially invested into it with cosmetics and whatever. Their social network is attached to it because they play it with their friends. So trying to extract people out of that is really difficult. So games developers are putting stuff out every year, trying to do something new and fresh, but it doesn't pay off because people are still playing the same shit they were playing years ago. And, you know, we can say, well, this is a different FC to last year. And it's not. It's slightly tweaked because we can't make a brand new AAA sports game every 12 months. It's like minor iterations on the previous year, on the previous year, on the previous year, except the people who made it really good in the beginning aren't involved anymore. So it's someone else's take on what should be the next iteration of EA Sports FC. And they'll have different ideas to the people who made it or made the game that you really liked when Ultimate Team first came out in FIFA 09 or something like that. It's similar, but not similar enough to love it, and certainly not fresh enough to keep people hyper engaged beyond the first few weeks of release. I think it's in a bit of a muddle right now, and dangerously so, I think, for EA. Like the negative sentiment's the worst it's been that I can remember in a very long time, especially without any like major scandal happening. This is just like generic, we don't like the game, which is bad.
Yeah. And do you know what? They were so close, I think, to nailing something that people loved. Like Rush has probably been some of the most fun I've had in this game this year. And that's because you're playing with friends. And I haven't done it a lot. I've dropped into Discord a bit. If you're not in the Discord, get yourself over there. And it's fun. But for me, peak Ultimate Team now is co-op. And they've done absolutely nothing with it. The only thing they've done with co-op this year is made it unplayable. There's a glitch at the moment where every time you log in, every time you go into a game and it's an away game, it kicks you. So you can't play Rivals, which is that's where it's happening in Rivals. So if you're wanting to play Rivals with friends and progress, you can't. Like, me and Pompel went in the other day and we got 5 away games in a row and got kicked out. And then we got into a couple of games. I think we had 2 or 3 games in a row then. It was fun, great, getting a bit of momentum, having some fun. And then, again, 3 or 4 games. You get into the menu, you start the game, 4 or 5 seconds into the game, you're kicked out. So then you've got to go back, invite somebody, go through all that process. Like, they're making it really, really difficult for you to play this game. And I can't believe there haven't been more. Pompel went digging into the flipping archives trying to find out anything about this issue with co-op. And on one of the forums is a bit of something where people have complained about it, but there's a fix where if you get rid of all your concept squads and all your other squads and you just have you both just have the squad that you're playing with, and no other squads. Apparently, it doesn't do it, but I've not tried that yet. But like, this is not a free game that you're just downloading off a Game Pass. It's £100, and I'm still waiting for fucking Rivals rewards from 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're not getting those.
That I spent fucking 12 hours or whatever it was fucking grinding for.
Visual glitch only.
There's just so many little issues. And I was coming into this podcast trying to be positive because everyone's been so fucking negative, but
we all knew it was going to be negative.
It's a struggle. It really, really is. But I have had some fun playing the game this weekend, today even. But you're having to find your own little games within the game to sort of make it fun.
You're going off the beaten track to try and find enjoyment, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
It's definitely good to be able to extract value wherever you see it. And I've actually played quite a lot of Rush over the last week because I just had some Evos I wanted to do. And I just wanted to, have a brain dead experience, quite frankly. I didn't want to emotionally invest myself in a competitive mode to do the Evo, so I'll just play Rush and see what happens. And I actually found that, and people are still retarded for the most part who play Rush, no offence, but I found that if I basically be the disciplined player and be basically the out and out defender, I could carry all sorts of bad teams to victory as long as they knew how to score at least occasionally and not like get in the way of each other when they're like trying to like slide a ball across the penalty area and tap it in. That if you have at least one person who's disciplined, it's not that difficult to like beat much better teams. So that kind of became my mini game to enjoy over the last week. And it did make me think that maybe there's something in Rush that I haven't been seeing. But I'm also like, it's still got terrible latency, like the button lag in it is ridiculous. So you have to like preemptively anticipate much further ahead of what you would do in a normal game, what action you need to do next to avoid being tackled or to pass or to shoot or whatever, and that's like super annoying. But yeah, it was a little bit different this week for me. I did have a train of thought there, but I've lost it now, unfortunately. But yeah, I kind of get where Paul's coming from in terms of just finding enjoyment wherever you can. Oh, that was the point I was about to make. I do beg your pardon. So, Paul talking about value in co-op. Sorry, Hunter, I know you're dying getting.
I'm just here.
Whereas I'm the opposite. I'm more of an introverted gamer, so it kind of pisses me off that games like FIFA, FC, or Call of Duty have kind of built up their thing about this, creating this very competitive single-player experience. And now that they know that they can really like milk more money out of their players by getting them to play with their friends, they're now trying to make it like a social networking type thing, which quite frankly fucks me right off. I just want to play on my own and enjoy myself when I get the fucking chance. I don't want to have to arrange to get online with people and fucking talk to people all night when I've been talking to people all day at work. It's like, just let me fucking be a loner like you've conditioned me to be for the last 15, 20 years and stop making me have to do stuff with other fucking people. It pisses me right off. But anyway, that's my rant.
Apparently, Ibuprofen's still waiting for Rivals Awards too, Paul. So you're not alone.
Oh, no, there's a hardcore gang of us still complaining about not getting them.
Good luck with that.
I know. I'm still going to be complaining past Team of the Year for these fucking rewards. And on EA Help, they have still got like a banner across there saying, sorry for the delay, we are looking into your Rivals rewards, blah, blah, blah. But they gave the compensate. It must be something difficult because they gave compensation for the Hero store pack this weekend before they've given those Rivals rewards. There's some legality in that compensation, so they're probably not really giving a fuck. But yeah,
Cheers, Westy.
Westy said Matt's the grumpy old man who lives on your street and will refuse to return the ball when it goes into his garden. Won't even answer the door, just pretends he's not in, just to avoid speaking to you.
That made me chuckle.
That's funny.
Chuckle.
Oh.
But I think with this game, they've tried really hard with all this realistic hypermotion and all this stuff. And, you know, we've seen it. The EA team are really proud of what they've done with all this stuff. Because I imagine, technology-wise, and it's been a difficult task to implement all this stuff. Brilliant. You've done that, but at the cost of the other bits of the game that you've not had time to finish or fix up. Do you know what I mean? Like it feels like an incomplete game still. Now, there's lots of stuff that's broken on the game that's not being resolved after. How many patches have we had? 3?
That we know about.
Um,
And some tuning.
But anyway, Ivo Taliska, what an absolute G he is. I am telling you. That guy, it takes about 35 seconds per shooting animation. But when he does, it just fills me with so much joy when his power shots fly in. And I have seen this weekend so many more people using Evo teams. Like full Birmingham City team yesterday. Seen a few fucking scummy Leeds United ones.
So why do you think that is, Paul, out of interest?
I think people are just like, fuck this meta bullshit. I'm just going to have a bit of fun using the cards that... Because in reality, it doesn't really matter that much if you're using a Warren Zaire Emery, who's 220k, to an Evo that you've got your local club's player up to an 84. There's not that much difference in it. So people are like, do you know what? I get so much more satisfaction about making badass passes with this midfielder or scoring goals with this midfielder than I do with some bloke who I've not really ever seen play because he plays in Serie A or he plays in League One. I'll use guys who I know, who are invested in. So I think that's why. I think people are just over it.
Have either of you guys seen anyone rocking this? Is it Hudlin, the giant striker that went into one of the latest Evos?
No.
Kyle Hudlin.
I've seen loads of hype around him. Is he like 6'7" or something?
6'9".
Oh, nice.
I got into an Evo, a rush match with someone who was Evoing him on my team, thankfully. And I don't know if you remember this guy. His name was I Am French. And he was a regular contributor on the Foothead website and forums back in the day. So I recognised who it was straight away. And he was Evoing this guy, and he was fucking brilliant with him. And he wasn't even finished. Like, the Evo wasn't complete. And he was so big and fast that he was basically like having a giant centre-back up front. So, like, he could win the ball over the pitch. It was like almost counting for 2 players. I was like, oh, I wish I'd bought that fucking car, but you'd have to like snipe all day on the market to try and get it. But that's the magic that between Russian Evos can have in a non-sort of regular competitive game cycle pattern where the game comes into its own. And it's nice to be able to create a new hero in the game for yourself, someone who you can root for. And maybe you'll keep an eye on them in real life because it's a player you're not familiar with. That's cool. That stuff is definitely where people are seeking more value from in the game at the moment. Because if you think about people who've been playing the game for a really long time, and I hate to go back into what I've just been talking about, but just bear with me a second. Whereby, like me, I've been playing the game for like 15 odd years or whatever. And there's still a lot of players in the game that were there when I first started playing it, and only a few of them get cycled out every year. So you're kind of playing with the same database for like 10, 15 years in a row to a point. And you get tired of using those same meta cards every year, and the same cards go into promos every year, and it's rarely varies much, generally speaking. So one of the reasons I'm not progressing so well in the game this year is because there's no one I want to buy, quite frankly. Like, I'm not interested in anything that's come out so far. You know, aside from the shit that you just can't get anywhere near because the price is so high, but normal, accessible, like up to several 100k cards, nothing appeals to me at the moment whatsoever. So why would I risk my capital in the market that's getting destroyed every day for cards I'm not interested in, that don't really seem to benefit my team much? Whereas with an Evo, it might not really make a material difference to the overall capability of your team, except for one or two exceptions. But you're going to have that emotional attachment to that card. You're going to have a different kind of amusement out of using it. And if it's themed against the club you support or something like that, it does give you a different buzz than just playing with the same bullshit meta players that everyone else has, just so they can get like a 5-10% edge on the person they're playing against. It's different, and it provides a different kind of enjoyment than the usual stuff, which I'm a little bit bored of, quite frankly, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the stuff you just talked about, you know, normally historically I've been the kind of person that goes out and I want to have the most meta team and I want to have the best team that I could possibly get and keep that grind going until the end of the game and then start over, right? This year's different for me because I don't know if it's because the pace thing is nerfed or the animation lottery that we have, but honestly, I don't think it matters who the fuck you have on your team. I don't think it matters if your team is 98 rated versus a 92 or a 83 rated team. But my MLS team, my Evo team, I'm destroying people in Rivals, same division as my super team, and I could barely scratch to win a game with my super team, with my expensive team. So I've hit this point to where if there's no new Evo that I can contribute to my MLS team, I'm just not playing because I don't like playing with the super team because it's not responsive. The AI are stupid as fuck. And yeah, that's kind of where it's put me. And I feel like looking at all the stuff we said at the beginning of the show all the way to now, plus what I've been seeing on social, I feel like people are waking up to the fact that the shit that I was talking about when Hypermotion first came out, how I said it was super heavy, how I fucking hated it, it was the worst thing they could have ever done to the game. It hasn't been much different for me. It's been pretty consistent since Hypermotion started. It's only gotten worse with the animations, but this whole problem that I've had, it seems like people are finally seeing it and feeling it. I don't know what fuck took them so long, but it's a problem. It's killing the game. No one enjoys it. Literally nobody comes online or goes on a stream and says, man, this is the funnest fucking FIFA I've ever played. They really did a great job. No one is saying that. There's so much hatred with this game right now. And I don't know what the fuck they're doing with the market, but they're killing it too.
Oh.
The content shit. It's all gamble SPCs. I just don't understand what their mission is right here. It's like they're trying to implode their game.
Question for you. How many promo cards have you packed over the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Sorry, what was that, Paul?
How many promo cards, or not just promo cards have you packed that have gone into your team over the last
I haven't packed
few
anything
weeks?
since the first couple of weeks that have gone into my first team. The best card I've got in my team that I've packed is Rudiger Gold. I've packed a Rodri, but he isn't going into my first team. But that's the level of bullshit I've had to contend with. So when you get to a point where, and this is a separate topic that we might touch upon a little bit more detail about pack weighting and stuff like that, and the promos aren't terribly exciting, but there's no point overextending yourself to play that many Rivals games to get the better rewards, or FUT Champs if you just don't believe, quite frankly, that you're going to get anything in return other than the experience of playing, which is what you should be playing for, quite frankly. But we're conditioned now to chase rewards. But there's no point getting rewards if you pretty much don't believe you're going to pack anything, which is kind of where I'm at, because I haven't packed anything that can go into my team for weeks. So what's the fucking point?
I feel like rewards as well have got so much better this year, as in regards to what you get back for getting, a decent weekend league or decent rivals ranks. But what comes out of those packs are not much better. Don't get me wrong, you get some more coins, which is nice. But like, I bought a team this weekend, bought 3 or 4 cards for my team this weekend. If I were to sell them today, I'm losing about 400k. And I might have got 100k back from what I got from rivals. So if you're buying players to use, we've had a couple of crashes now in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, you're getting stiffed. And even if you're not getting stiffed and the card is the exact same amount, you're still losing that much in tax. If you're buying 4 or 5 cards for your team that are, might cost $1 million, 1 point, whatever it might cost. And I don't care if I've used those cards for the weekend. I'll pay that tax to use those new cards. But it's just fucking frustrating when you're getting nothing back. And I look in our Discord and people aren't packing shit. Like, the odd person's packing a random card now and again. But usually when there's a promo on or some upgrades, whatever it might be. Oh, upgrades. Don't even get me started on these Centurion upgrades. Fucking, compared to last year, they are fucking awful.
There's a lot of people saying that they've made the mistake of putting in the SBC storage as opposed to going for the exchanges, and that's having a real detrimental impact to people's progression in terms of building up teams, getting better cards, that kind of thing. Don't know how you guys feel about that, but it was an interesting observation.
Yeah, we were having this conversation yesterday in Discord saying how they're going to bring exchanges back around Team of the Year. And somebody said, they might not do because of the SBC storage. But I hope they do, because that were one of the best things about last year's games for me, the exchanges, that you could sort of grind them. And they were a bit of a grind.
I'm not even packing high-rated golds to put into an exchange. I don't know if that's happening to everyone else, but I wouldn't be able to use an exchange based off the current pack weight. It would be rather pointless, to be honest.
I was asking yesterday, because people were saying, I've done this SB, I've done that SBC, and I was like, fucking hell, if you look at, since the game's come out, I think I've done Theram and a few of the hero upgrades and the rush ones, which were next to nothing anyway.
And
but in my SBC storage, I've got nothing. Over a week, I'm just about, or 2 weeks actually, because that's how long it's been taking for the hero SBCs to come out. I'm just about getting enough fodder to do those. No chance I can afford to do a big SBC.
I do wonder if Real Life conspired against EA by making Marcus Thuram Player of the Month, and then they've made a card that's a bit too good, because you could still lean on that card. Okay, it's 3-star, 3-star, it's not ideal, but it's still very effective, even at this stage of the game. It shouldn't be that good now, and every time I play online, I come up against Squad Foundation's Sissoko. He's the main midfielder everyone uses now, and they gave that away.
Yeah.
Gave it away.
Yeah, they basically gave everybody a Vieira class card at this point.
Right. Yeah. It's so you've got the prime sort of fast defensive midfielder. You've got the Adama Traore on the right wing. You've got a Marcus Thuram up front. It's you've taken 3 slots out of most like casual players' teams straight away. It's like they've made them too good. I mean, that Sissoko should have been a blueprint for a good Evo because he's got it in his person. Like he has the capability with a bit of a tweak to be physically very useful. But no, he's on the slide now. He's playing for Watford in the Championship. He's not as good as he was 5 or 6 years ago when he was in the French World Cup team or whatever. He shouldn't be anywhere near as good as he is. And these are the weird kind of mistakes that EA make that have a big impact on the game. And it's like, why is Ginola a striker this year? I'm pretty sure he never played as a striker. It's so fucking weird. I've said it year after year. He's such a fucking myth. He was a very, very good player.
Wash your mouth out.
But never as good as this game makes him out to be. It's obscene.
He was an absolute baller, was Ginola.
He was a baller, but he wasn't like Ronaldinho. He's not on that level, but in this game he is because of how his attributes contribute towards his physical makeup and whatever. It creates this elite card. And then you stick him in as a striker, which I'm fairly positive he never played. He was a left winger for the majority of his career. Or left-sided midfielder. Peanuts.
Yeah, I think he did play wide most of the time, I think, didn't he? But
yeah, it's just silly. They don't do themselves any favours. So we're crying out for interesting content, some cool cards to be able to actually pack something. But then at the same time, you're giving us like multiple like freebie cards that should be useful for the first couple of weeks, but we're a couple months in now and they're still fucking being used. Because no one's packing anything. It's making it quite stale.
Yeah. That Sissoko card's unbelievable as well because of that long ball plus. Just makes him the perfect midfielder, doesn't it? Sort of CDM. But that attack, that striker Thuram, that card gives me fucking nightmares every time I play against that card. His finishing is just unbelievable. And he just bullies. And I'm struggling defensively at the moment. I have been playing a formation for too long where I'm easily countered. And strong, fast strikers and wingers are just absolutely tearing me a new one at the moment. And
Westy says that's because you're using Bradford players.
There's probably something in that, to be fair.
I've only got 2, and I don't always play him in the weekend league, but I need to have a bit of a change up with my formation because I think the last 2 weekends I've made it miserable for myself by using the 4-4-2 with both of my fullbacks attacking too much with my fullbacks and just relying then on my centre backs to get me out of the shit. But I'm in a bit of a funk at the moment with it. But before we came on air tonight, I did use a 4-1-4-1 and won 3 games in a row. So maybe that is my future formation because it did seem like all 4 of my defenders were defended. So yeah, but I think that has added to my pains really. Like I could deal with getting countered because I'm scoring a fair few goals because I've got everybody pushing up the field, but then just the delay and all the bullshit happening as well, the rebounds and has just been annoying. And I think rebounds happen to me a lot because I've forever got my fucking finger on that sprint button when I'm defending. And I think sprint jockeying is not the move. And I also like to use the shoulder barge a lot, and I don't think it's as effective this year as it was last year. Or is that just me who's not using the right players for it?
I think
I don't
it's
know.
still effective. If you do it right.
I think it's good if you've got defenders who've got Bruiser. Like I've been using Xhaka today, who's got Bruiser Plus, and him with the shoulder barge, he's just like, move out of the way, bitch.
See, that's part of the problem too. Playstyle pluses have way too much impact on cards. Defenders with high ratings and good strength should be able to perform a shoulder barge, even if they don't have Bruiser Plus. The fact that that's a thing, we said this last year when they came out with this new thing, that we were worried it was going to come to this. You must have this Playstyle Plus to be effective at what you want to do. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it this year more so than any year. Don't know why, but
And not
it's
even
just a fact.
necessarily the playstyle. Plus, like, if you've got a defender who, like you say, who's high rated, who should be able to do it all, he should have. And I know we're early in the game, and you don't want to give him too many playstyles too early. But like you say, they should still be able to shoulder barge. Maybe not to the level that a Bruiser or Bruiser Plus can do, but they should still be able to perform that animation and that tackle without. Have you guys also noticed like people spamming tackle?
that's been going on for years. So like,
I've had a few people this weekend, and they just seem to be spamming it, but recovering very quickly.
yeah, you're not penalized near enough for spamming tackle. You should be taken out of the play if you keep spamming tackles.
Yeah,
But
like
that's not the case.
people missing tackles and then just getting back to me quick time. And not that I hadn't noticed it before, but I think I extra noticed it this weekend just because of how bad it went.
Yeah. I think a lot of that comes down to the animation shit in the high promotion because it takes X amount of time to execute X animation. And you
Yeah.
have really good players who are good at exploiting things like skill combinations, like step over into a heel to heel and sprinting out of it or whatever. Like, skill combinations are the way to get past defenders. And if you can master those, great. But are we really playing football at that point? You know what I mean? It's no longer about, and people are going to argue and say whatever, but you used to be able to just play basic fundamental football, which is a question we have coming in from Private Jedi. We'll get to it in a second, but you can't just play fundamental solid football anymore and win games. You have to be able to exploit things. I mean, you can play fundamental football to a point, but if you want to get better and play to that next level, you've got to learn how to abuse mechanics. And that's been the case for years.
I
But
slightly disagree.
this
I
year,
think-
more so than any, that's
I
the
just
case.
think it's too much easier to go the route you're saying, Hunter, to go for the exploit route. Learning how to play good football and occasionally passing backwards to build up is beyond most people's comprehension. We see it in Rush how dumb people are, quite frankly.
It's considered toxic passing backwards, which is wild.
Yeah.
Well, there you go then. So people were then complaining that they're basically having a wall of death with centre backs and wondering why the ball gets sticky on people. It's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy almost. It's like if you're not prepared to build up slow, or at least in one instance of your rapid counter-attack, play one ball backwards to then play it forwards. You're playing basketball pretty much, not football at that point.
Yeah.
I have had a thought about whether they should include what's it called in basketball where you can't go back into your own half of the court.
Half court.
We
Is that
call
what
it
it's called?
backcourt.
Half court, yeah, where you can't go back into your own half, yeah.
Like, I mean, that's good for like stopping people like playing it around the back and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not sure what the point is I was trying to make there. But it's just one thing that it has popped into my head various times over the course of playing this game over and over again. But if people don't want to play it like a football game where you have to build up slow, or play it more wide, and when I say the wings, I mean wide midfield, not wide forwards, and cross it in to a striker. It's like This is another problem that EA have, right? I think I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. The game, as we know it for many years, has been built up around the way that certain players in real life are projected to be in this game, i.e. as CR7, Messi, Neymar. They're all fucking retiring soon. They're going to have to like really rebuild what a lot of the top level cards behave like in the game, because if Mbappe is to inherit that throne, and he kind of already has, people are already fucking bored of him. You know, he's nowhere near as fun to use as a 93 rated CR7 or a 94 Messi was 10 years ago. He's just fast. He doesn't have a whole lot more going for him as far as the way this game projects him anyway. Who are they going to build the game up around next? Is it going to be not Inaki Williams, Nico? Someone like that? He's still too new on the scene, or a Yamin Lamal or something like that. But real life hasn't really generated this next generation of superstars to sort of build your game around in terms of the identity of like elite attacking players. So like it's big talk about Neymar potentially retiring in the next few months or something like that. That's going to be a big blow to this game unless they just shove him straight in as an icon. But then no one's going to get to use him because it'll be so hard to pack. And the identity of the game then has to change quite dramatically, I think, because it's still based off what EA thought were the elite players in the world 15 years ago, generally speaking. You're on mute, Paul.
Just going back there, Matt, to playing backwards, I play quite slowly, and you know I'll play balls back to my centre backs or my CDM, and the amount of times, especially when gameplay is like slow, you just get the ball whipped away from you. A fucking centre back, a striker will come through the back of you and have that. So this is fibre. This is fibre and a good webcam.
Just so people know, we have we're doing the live pod, and there's some guys in the chat saying that Paul's webcam is from a chip shop and that he's got Northern Wi-Fi carrier pigeon broadband.
No, it went out of focus. Look, we're back now. Look, you can see you see me in full HD now.
360p, baby.
You can fucking stay out of this, Hunter.
Hey, look, I'm out.
1080.
I was on mute the whole time anyway, I think.
Whatever that is. But you get punished for playing slowly and passing back to your fucking CDM who gets tackled from behind by Nunes, who then just fucking pushes the ball away and away he goes. He's through, and you score even shielding. It's a risky move trying to shield now, I feel like. Even if you've got players who, you know, Sissoko, he should be able to shield the ball while you turn and get it away. But no, you've got to fucking run in the opposite direction as fast as you can if somebody comes anywhere near you.
Carrier pigeon broadband. That's the name of the show. That's what we're going to title this one.
Vodafone, full fibre here. Don't fuck about in Yorkshire.
As you said, it's like going back to being a teen watching porn on a Nokia Engage buffing every few seconds.
That's your internet, that Westy. That's your
remember
internet.
the snake game on the Nokia phones? So you have to like eat the little pieces without eating your own tail?
Yeah.
That was a beast. I can see Hunter popping pills in 4K. That's not pills, that's peanuts. Peanuts. Do y'all want to talk about the Trackstars promo?
Anything we get peanuts in the UK, is it? Like, we kind of bottle. Who puts peanuts in a bottle?
That's weird, isn't it?
Americans.
Yeah.
We put them in a foil bag.
That's
like a
that's
gentleman.
Yeah.
We like to be non-environmental friendly. and use plastic.
Fucking hell, nuts that size in this country it cost about 14 quid.
No shit.
I got mine for free. Ah. All right, let's talk about Trackstars promo. Unless y'all are just like, fuck FIFA, and we can end the show.
No,
No,
actually, we not necessarily track stars, but we got an SBC tonight that I'm probably going to do. Aubameyang. He's got Finesse Plus, which, for me, the best play style plus for an attacker. 4-4. He's fast. Big, strong lad. And he's not ridiculously expensive like most other SBCs I've been recently. 160k, which, you know, it's not nothing, but it's cheap enough to get me interested, I
Who
think.
the fuck is this club he plays for these days? Jesus Christ.
Some Saudi league in it, but a link to Talisca.
Al something.
Yeah, you'll have a link of sorts to
Ish. Yeah. We're building. At the moment, Talisca's got 0 links, so we're trying.
Yeah, you could just buy icons for chemistry if you got like millions of coins laying around.
Well, I used to have millions of coins, but these market crashes are taking the toll.
They robbed us.
Hmm.
So anyway, we were talking about track stars, were we?
Yeah.
Sure. What do you guys think about it?
Some nice cards in
awful, man. Who the fuck thought that was going to hype anyone up?
This is the biggest.
The people who run on a track. Wow, man, it's a pace promo.
It's the biggest hoodwink in foot history because it's all about pace, and pace is basically irrelevant in this game at the moment. You could have 99 pace, and you'll still get run down by a 60 pace lengthy center back.
It's such a fucking chicken shit cheap option to just basically like release new cards with more pace. Like, is that the only thing they think people are interested in? Yeah, of course, it makes a difference, and when we've been conditioned to just go for pace year after year after year. But come on, these cards are so fucking average, generally speaking. Unless you're getting Teo or fucking Ginola, this is all bullshit. Absolute fucking nonsense, all of it.
But the pace, Matt, look at the pace.
Why would I give a fuck about...
Because they're fast.
The fact that Van der Ven's got 2 more pace than the last version of it that fucking came out, or Adeyemi, who's absolute dog shit, aside from the fact he's got 98 pace. It doesn't matter. These cards are fucking awful. They're just a little bit quick. Like, I'd have fucking anyone who uses the majority of these cards on fucking toast with my fucking starter squad. Quite frankly, just passing the ball around and frustrating the fuck out of them. This is a shit promo with 0 imagination, and this is part of the reason why people are so fucking frustrated. It'd be nice if we're saying cards are hard to pack, we're not giving out amazing rewards, but there's something to really aspire to. No one wants these cards.
I do, actually. I
It's
would
nonsense. All right, what do you want?
There's a few cards there that I like. I like Xhaka. Like Bundesliga links.
Xhaka?
Got Bruiser Plus.
Oh, Xhaka.
Yeah.
Not Xhaka.
Xhaka, that's what I said.
Oh.
Shikaka.
Lucio. He's my guy, Lucio, but I'm not packing him.
No one's getting him. He's 2.2 mil.
Joe Cole.
And
that's another nice one. But I've got Joe Cole's previous card, so I'm not that fussed. Okocha, he's another nice one. Theo, 3.8 million coins for a left back is absolutely wild. And then, don't get me wrong, he's by far the best left back in the game. His gold is just unpassable. He's like, nope, not down this side, buddy. But like you say, Matt, there's no imagination. It's just when you think of an EAFC promo, these are the cards that you'd expect to be in it. Chiesa, I bet he's very, very good, but is 1,000,000 coins.
But the stupid thing is, right, all jokes aside, a lot of these cards pre-promo were already quite quick. They haven't gone and made like slow players fast, with maybe the exception of Xhaka. Lizarazu's quick, Lucio's quick, Cordoba's quick, Joe Cole slightly quicker than he normally is. It's like, what are they doing? Let's just make fast cards a bit faster and hope people don't fucking chew us out too much for it. It's stupid. It really is stupid. And even the ones who were a bit slow before, they're not so fast that it's going to make a material difference to the game. Like, the fact you've got Xhaka on 80 pace just basically levels him up with that Sissoko we're talking about. It's not going to be better. It's stupid.
No, it's not. And
Hey,
I don't get
Courtois
what they're
got
aiming
plus
for.
2 speed, man.
Oh, fuck my life.
He's up to
Courtois.
48.
He's got no fucking legs in real life. He's constantly injured. Why is he getting faster?
Because he sells fucking packs.
No one buys packs to get a Courtois. Don't be silly.
You're right. They don't. I don't know why.
you know, I get it. They've put
Somebody
some
had to be a
different.
keeper.
They've put some different playstyle pluses on cards, so it's a little bit different from their other cards. But
There's still plenty of these cards at the lower end who don't even have like a fucking gold playstyle.
yeah,
True.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
It
At this
is.
stage of the game. Milinkovic Savic, 86 rated, no goal play style. It's like, this is like DOA, man. This is like
Yeah.
maybe the worst promo since those Adidas and Nike ones they did in the last 2 years that no one gave a fuck about. It's on that level. It's just dumb. It's dumb and it's lazy.
Supposedly FC Pro is coming next, which just sounds like it's going to be a real banger.
What? Where is Thunderstruck? Like, the amount of community goodwill that got, you could just copy paste that, put
It's
some
coming
slightly
next
different
week,
cards
innit?
in. People will be so pleased. It's
they
just
just
like,
put the cards in the code today, so that'll be
not
middle of
Thunderstruck.
yeah.
Oh, okay then.
So we're not
Yeah,
getting
so-
FC Pro.
No, we'll get FC Pro this weekend, which will
Okay.
probably be a 4-day promo. Maybe middle
Dog
of
shit,
next
a
week,
promo.
we'll start getting either pre-Black Friday or Thunderstruck will start middle of week. Maybe I'm guessing here, but I think that's what happened last year. But yeah, we got the Thunderstruck cards went into the code today, so I imagine in the next 10 days we'll have Thunderstruck. But FC Pro, they take forever to get upgraded, don't they? And I don't know when the first... Oh no, I think the first lot gets upgraded quite quickly with the FC Pro, and then it takes a while. But some of those cards were nice for the FC Pro last year. I remember...
Is this the one where basically it's based off results of the competitive
pros, yeah.
live events?
Yeah.
No one's giving a fuck about that this year. I think we're all pretty much fed up of watching people play FC these days.
Yeah.
No one's going to tune in to watch your bullshit live event.
I can't even tune in just for the freaking rewards anymore. Like, I just can't be asked. Like, fuck
Oh,
off.
I'm
You're going to give me a
tuning in
shitty
for
pack
those
with some
rewards.
fucking contracts and or a ball in a stadium and a couple of gold players. Sweet. Thanks. Fuck you.
I like it when they have a draft and they have a certain amount of, the limited coin-wise to teams they can build, because I'm always intrigued in what teams they build. But we'll see. We'll see.
They need
But
to
aren't
do
we
something,
been a
though.
bunch of grumpy old bastards this week?
Well, it's not just us, though. I think the entire community is kind of in sync on this one. I say community, player base, because we don't have a community. Let's be clear about that. But they need to do something because, like, I don't even hate the game. Like, usually I'm mad at the game because I want it to be good, but I just don't even give a fuck anymore. Like, I've been so, like, disappointed for so long. I just kind of expect it. And every now and then maybe they'll surprise me with something cool. But until they change what the fuck they're doing, I'm just going to keep checking Evos. And if I can't add to my MLS team, I'm fucking playing COD. Sorry. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right about there's a kind of unified front on dysfunction
Yeah.
within the game. As far as
But
people
hopefully it
considering
shows
that.
in the engagement.
I know we said a lot of like down bad shit about the game this week. I don't feel overwhelmingly negative towards the game. I'm kind of like trying to interpret other people's frustrations. But as I said before, my concern comes from the fact that I just can't improve my team because I'm just not getting anything back for my time. So I'm choosing to use more of that time elsewhere at the moment. I've been playing Black Ops. Even that's having its own issue. People not happy with season 1 of that. So where'd you go after that? I'll be playing Stalker 2 this week when that comes out, but that might last me a week or two. So I'll be dipping in and out of FC, no problem, but the discontent is palpable, to say the least. It's not just us.
I don't even know what that means, but I agree.
Mm-hmm. Good. Don't question me.
What's palpable mean?
Basically means you can taste it for the sake of it. You know, like the saying is, you can cut the tension in the air with a knife. It's kind of like that.
You can feel it, like you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Paul, you didn't know what the fuck it meant. Shut up.
Of course I fucking knew what it meant. I'm not fucking American.
Did you read that in that book back there you got? Whatever the fuck that book is?
Maybe you need to read that. No. What have we got
Is that
here?
a thesaurus?
No, it's Walt Disney's Peter Pan.
Oh, fucking love that movie.
There you go.
I don't want to read it. I want to watch it.
Westy's got it.
That's because you can't read it.
He's got
Anyway.
some palpable substances in his room at the moment.
It's like when you can taste a fart in the room and the taste is stuck in your teeth. I've never tasted a fart that bad. Thank fuck. Jesus, I ain't going to Westy's house.
Go to
Anyway.
Doctor's Wester.
Yeah. We did have that question from Private Jedi, but I think we're going to spend a little bit more time on that one. So we'll get to that next week. Don't let us forget. We'll run out of time this week. But we will be back with you guys next week. Hopefully EA does something to change the mood around this game because it's very palpable at the moment. Did I use that right?
No.
Kind of.
No.
Sort of.
The shit is palpable. The shit mood is palpable.
Yes, that's
There we go.
better.
There we go. All right. Catch you guys next week. See you.
Peace.
In a bizzle.